studios in New York City. This is Charlie Rose.
Jack Lemmon has received 8 Oscar nominations, winning twice. Audiences have always identified with his everyman persona. His film roles are as diverse as the comedies, Some Like It Hot and The Odd Couple, to more dramatic work in The China Syndrome and Missing. More recently, he's received a Golden Globe nomination for his performance in the television remake of 12 Angry Men. Although he didn't win, all were surprised when Ving Rhames gave him his award.
I feel that being an artist is about giving, and I'd like to give this to you, Mr. Jack Lemmon.
And joining me now, Jack Lemmon. Welcome, sir.
Thank you,
Now,
Charlie.
tell me about the moment when you heard him say that.
I was blown away. I've never heard of anything like that happening before, and it never has happened before to anybody's knowledge, where someone receives an award and then calls somebody else up and gives it to them.
Yeah.
I just, on the way up, when he called me and said, is Jack Lemmon here? Mr. Lemmon, would you come up on the stage, please? And everybody applauded and said, yeah. So what am I going to do? Say
Sure,
no?
exactly.
And so I went up. Now, on the long walk up there through all of the tables and everything, past Jack Nicholson, he said, give it to me.
Yes.
And I just saw Jack on the way over here, as a matter of fact. Said, where is it? Anyhow, on the way up, I had no idea what was going to happen. I thought that possibly, in a very nice way, he was going to say, I loved your performance in 12 Angry Men, and I wanted to acknowledge it, or something. I didn't know. I had no idea, but I certainly didn't expect him to say, I want you to have this. And I didn't know what to do. And then afterwards, after I had was still holding it, and we got off stage, I went backstage, and I said, Ving, this is your award, so forth. He said, no, it's yours. I want you to have it, and he would not take it back. Now, I didn't know what, now I'm stuck. And we're going to face 500 reporters back there, and television cameras, and the paparazzi and everything else, and I didn't know what to do. And fortunately, at that moment, 2 of the officials from the Golden Globes came over and said, Jack, keep the award. We're giving Ving another one. So I said, oh, thank God for that. And,
it clearly was heartfelt from his part.
Oh,
I mean, this was a guy who was emotional.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a line about art and yourself, but yourself in the art.
Yeah, don't appreciate yourself in the art. Appreciate the art in yourself. Or no, don't appreciate the art in yourself. Appreciate yourself in the art. Yeah, in other words, I think an awful lot of people, this is what I really respect about Ving. Yeah. As much as his talent and his performance that he gave, which was just superb as Don King. Wow. What I really appreciate is how he feels, and he truly does feel, about acting and what acting is. When he says acting is about giving, and I want you to have this, he is dead right. And there are some actors that do not realize that the real joy of acting, the pinnacle of acting is not how you feel when an audience stands up and applauds. It's them. It's how they feel, what you have given to them. Because an actor is in a position, as Ving well knows, to do something that I think very few of us can ever do at any time in our life, and that is to enlighten, truly, and to change people's lives and change their points of view about things that they might never have thought about at all had they not seen that particular performance.
You appreciate that now. When you set out to be an actor, why did you want to do it?
I wanted to do it probably for the wrong reason. Not for that, but I don't expect a kid when he starts out, if he wants, as I did. I started at 8 in school plays and knew that I loved it. It was for what I was getting out of it. That's true, because I felt that it was something I could do. And when it was accepted by my friends at school, by my peers, I thought, oh boy, I'm doing something that my friends like. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to keep on doing it. Then I fell in love with it. Yeah. But I still think it was probably because I was getting such enjoyment out of it.
When you look at a young man like Matt Damon, who I saw
Oh, boy, yeah.
just out of Harvard not that many years as you came out of Harvard, you've got to say, boy, what a life he has ahead of him, because he's found success from quality early on.
Exactly, yeah. Both he and Ben Affleck, they're just superb. And as a matter of fact, just after Ving gave me the award backstage, it's the first time I had a chance to meet Matt.
Yeah, amazing.
Terrific young man, yeah, and extremely talented.
12 Angry Men. You get a chance. I mean, the 70s, your 70s, have been terrific for you.
Amazing. It's just...
You're in demand.
Yeah.
As much as you've been in any decade, except
yeah,
maybe
I
back
think as
to...
much or more than at any time in my career.
You just, at Pebble Beach...
Now you're talking, kid.
Having never made the cut, ever, in the Pro-Am, this year, you might have had a chance to win it.
Yeah.
You and Peter Jacobs. And then it started raining, and they got behind. I mean...
Yeah, they called it. You know, I was speaking with Peter and Ken Venturi at one point when they had called it on Sunday. We got 2 more holes in Sunday, the first and second at Pebble Beach, and then the siren went, just as we made a birdie. That put us at 17 under for what would be 2 complete days, 2 complete rounds, 36 holes. And that's very good. That's within a stroke or 2 of what usually makes the cut, period. And we still had 16 holes to go. So it wasn't a cut. It was a matter of could we win it, because we were only 4 back of the leader.
Yeah. Who was the leader at that time? You remember?
I've forgotten.
Okay, so you're 4 back, and that's easy.
We were 4 back.
Yeah, so you could win if you're 4 back.
It was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
There was about 2 or 3 of us, I think, or maybe 4 tied at 17 under. We all had a shot at anybody had a shot at it that was within 5 or 6. I think had a legitimate shot.
Have you played with Peter
winning.
for a number of years?
I've played with Peter for about 15 years.
Oh,
now.
15 years.
Yeah, long time. Yeah, he's a patient man.
You're playing. Your handicap is not as low as it has been, say, a decade ago.
Once I was 11 or 12, about 8 or 9 years ago, I think.
But
that didn't last long.
Suppose you had won. Where would you put that accomplishment in the pantheon of things that you have achieved?
Number 1. Number 1. I'd put it way up there. Yeah. I really would. We will do it. We'll do it next year, by golly. We would have done it this year. I mean, no question we would have made the cut. I know that. Yeah. Everybody knows that. But we'll get it up there, and then we'll go for the win. Go all the way.
How do you like that golf course?
Oh, boy, I love it.
You have 12 Angry Men. Nice script to get your hands on, isn't it?
Oh, boy. I felt about 12 Angry Men as I did about Glengarry Glen Ross. I worked with, in both cases, the best group of ensemble actors that I've ever worked with, ever, in those 2 films.
George
They were
C.
just
Scott.
superb, yeah. George C. and everybody, all of the actors. If I had to sit down and think of somebody else to play the part, I wouldn't come up with anybody.
All right. Roll tape. Here it is. 12 Angry Men.
Slips through our fingers. What are you, his executioner?
I'm one of them.
Maybe you'd like to put the needle in.
For this kid, you bet I would.
God, I'm sorry for you.
Don't start with me now.
Ever since we've walked into this room, you've acted like a self-appointed public avenger.
Shut up.
You want the boy to die for your own personal reasons, not because of the facts. You're a sadist.
Kill him. Kill him.
You don't really mean you'll kill me, do you? Oh, George.
Oh, George.
Is he beautiful? We're going to do Inherit the Wind together, also with Billy Friedkin directing.
He'll play...
He's going to play Brian.
Brian, and you'll play...
And I'll play, I think he's called Drummond in the script, but it's...
it's the great contest discussing ancestry and all of that.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's all happening now for you? Why is it all of a sudden come up?
I don't know,
roses?
But I must say that, and I'm happy about it, I can't take any credit for it because it was certainly not purposeful. It just happened. But I think that Crazy Matthau, my pal Matthau and I did start something with the first Grumpy Old Men, which was a huge hit, and that was bringing stories to the screen about older people, and the studios woke up and realized there was a huge audience for stories about older people. And that when you get past 50, that doesn't mean that you die and that nothing ever happens downstairs or that you can't be in love physically and emotionally, you know, and have a fruitful and important life.
So you made Grumpy Old Men, which did well. Then you made Grumpier Old Men.
Then Grumpier.
And then they were going to make a third one.
They were going to make a third.
What happened?
And what happened was that Neil Simon came along, thank God, with
Odd Couple.
Odd Couple 2. Yeah. So we finished that, and that'll be out April 10th, I believe.
Now, the idea behind Odd Couple 2 is that there's going to be a marriage.
Right, yeah, his son and my daughter. And we've been apart for 17 or 18 years in the script.
Yeah.
And we're thrown together again, of course, going to the wedding.
What is it about you and Walter?
That's one of those things that I don't think can be explained. It's just a chemistry that just happens. When it happens with a man and a woman on stage or screen, or two men, two women, whatever, then, you know, like Gable and Tracy in their way had it. I'm not trying to say that we're Gable and Tracy or anything like that, but it's like having a third star in a way. There's me and there's Walter, and then the two of us together creates another entity that is attractive to audiences. And
you know each other's moves, you can feel it, he brings out the best in you, you know it's coming, and so you gear up to give it your best response.
And when I don't know what's coming, it's okay, I just go with it. And Walter will never tell me anyhow. He just tries something in the middle of a scene, and he'll wait until we're rolling to do it. And that's fine, I go with it, and the same if I do it, then he goes with it. And I'm still doing it.
And Simon wrote the script for the second one?
Yes, yeah, Neil wrote it for the second one. And we're doing the third one this fall. Howie Deutsch, who directed the second Grumpier.
Yeah. So you're doing the third one now?
Yeah.
So this one is finished, opens in April, and then in the fall you start shooting Odd Couple.
We're already working on the third one, yeah. It's really good, the second one. I think it's better than the first. This is just my opinion, but I think it's really better, funnier than the first one.
As I understand, it takes place, a lot of it in a car, and a trip. You take a 17-hour trip to the wedding.
Right. We get lost in the middle of the desert out in California, and all hell breaks loose.
All right. Let me take you back to Mr. Roberts. Where was that in your career?
That was very early. That was second, third picture. I guess third, maybe fourth.
Great cast.
And superb cast, and they were wonderful. I got very close to all three, to Hank Fonda and to Jimmy Cagney and Bill Powell, all of whom have left us, unfortunately, and which doesn't usually happen. I got close to all three of them, and I would see them, you know,
as friends,
as friends after the film for years to come. After I did Koch, which was a great experience. But of course, I was working with Walter, whom I was so close to, and it was so easy. As Walter says, Lemmon's my favorite director because he never directed. I didn't tell him what to do. He's got a good point. I think that too many directors try to direct an actor when an actor has the part, and he's got the tiger by the tail, in which case, let him go. That's all. Let him go.
You tell a great story about somebody that was directing you, and I don't know who it was, but it was some wonderful director, a classic director, and they kept saying, oh, it was George Cukor, I think.
Oh, yeah, when he kept saying
less, tell me the story.
One more and less.
Yeah, tell me the story.
Oh, it was maybe the best, he and Billy Wilder gave me the best two pieces of direction I ever had, but George, this may be the best, did the first picture I ever did with Judy Holliday, the great Judy Holliday. And it was called It Should Happen to You. Terrible title, but a good film. Anyway, I had just done a revival of Room Service on Broadway, so I was used to playing, you know, a little bit bigger and being on the stage. And so when we started the film, we'd finish a scene, and when George liked it, he'd say, print, cut, print. He says, but Jack, one more, less, just a little bit less, less. And I said, well, this went on for about 2 weeks. And I was beginning to get stomach aches at night, and I'd lie awake all night long, working on the lines in my mind for the next day, and also hearing him say less, less, less. And finally, we got to a really big scene in it, and the main reason I wanted to play the part was for this scene. It was a wonderful scene where he blows up at Judy Holliday, bawls her out, walks out, slams the door, and then comes back in and says, "Is it still on for Friday lunch?" And she says, "Of course." Yeah. He says, "Thank you very much," and slams the door and goes away. At any rate, we rehearsed it, and we're all set. We did it, and I think it was about take 2 or 3, and it flew. Yeah. And we got through, and Judy said, "Oh, boy." She knew that,
thought it was as good as you could
nailed it, and I thought, oh, hot damn, we got it, you know, hot dog. And I waited, and sure enough, George says, "That's wonderful, it's a print, it's a print." He says, "Jack, let's do just one more, just a little less, a little less." And uncharacteristically, yes. I couldn't take it anymore. I said, "Are you trying to tell me not to act?" And he said, "Oh, God, yes, yes, oh, please, yes, that's the word." It's a wonderful piece of direction.
That's great. Don't act. Don't let them see you
don't let
act.
it show, yeah.
Billy Wilder's advice was what? You said the other...
Oh, Billy, it's just that in the scene in Some Like It Hot, where Tony comes back in at night after he's been with Marilyn, I've been out with Joe E. Brown doing the tango and everything, and I'm lying on the bed with muchachas going like this. And every time Tony would say a line and I'd answer, it would be a laugh line. Yeah. And Billy said, play, after you say your line, do the muchachas and whatever you want to move, anything you want to do. He says, I've got a fairly loose shot, but use the muchachas. I thought he was crazy. I thought it was just a piece of shtick and it didn't mean anything and so forth. Well, what happened was the audience, after I'd say the line, would laugh, and I go, and then the laugh would die down, and then Tony would come in with his feed line, and then I would have the next line, and then we do it again. They never would have heard anything from the first or second line on if I hadn't had the muchachas to fill in between legitimately, because you can't time a laugh on film. As you know, there's no way to do it. You can only guess.
If you had is your first choice comedy or drama? Do you care? I
don't care. It's just it's the part and the writing itself. In other words, if I do care to this extent only, if I've done a couple of comedies in a row or maybe 3, then I would love to find a good drama and a good part in a good drama to do, just as a change of pace, and vice versa.
Days of Wine and Roses made your dramatic reputation, or was it before that?
No, I would say Days of Wine and Roses.
Made it.
Yeah, that was the toughest. And then Save the Tiger kind of cemented.
Which you did for scale, did you? You didn't take any big money or participation?
No.
Which reminds me of Odd Couple. You're still looking for your money for Odd Couple. Yes?
Yeah, of course.
But is it harder to do comedy or harder to do drama?
It's harder to do comedy in general. In every way, as writing, directing, and acting. I'm not sure of the reasons. I don't know if anybody is, except that on comedy, it either works or it doesn't work, which gives rise to the old phrase, I laid an egg, you know? Yeah. You can lay an omelet in 2 split seconds, and when it doesn't work, an audience really knows it, and it's very hard to get them back. It can take 5 or 10 minutes to get them back, you know.
Whereas in drama, if you're not quite as good as you can be...
If you're interested in a dramatic scene, then it can hold until your next high point.
Who's the best comedic director you work with?
The best comedic director is well, of course, Billy Wilder is incomparable. But Blake Edwards is a marvelous comedic director.
But he's the guy that did Days of Wine and Roses.
And he did Days of Wine and Roses also, yeah. And I think that Blake has the most talent of any director I've worked with for visual comedy and what not to show. In other words, when he was doing with Peter Sellers, the Pink Panthers series, in one of the first ones, I've forgotten which one, it might have been the very first one, where Peter had his houseboy who was trained to attack him, to keep him sharp and on edge. When he'd come into his own apartment, he'd be looking around. He'd have to search the whole apartment to see if Koto or Kyoto, whatever his name was around there, so he wouldn't get attacked. And he looked and he looked and he looked. We all knew what he was looking for. Everything's cool. Now he's going to take a tub. And he disappears. The camera pans him into the bathroom and just stays on the empty door. We hear him turn on the tub. We don't see him. He comes back out, disappears for a second, comes back. He's now just got his robe on, and he starts taking his robe off just as he disappears from the door again, and we hear him get into the tub. And the camera's just there on the door. It hasn't moved. And now all of a sudden into the frame comes the houseboy who's going to go, and he's ready. And he gets primed like this, like he's going to do the broad jump. And he suddenly zips through the door at an angle, flying through the air, and we don't see him land, but we hear him hit, well, like a tremendous thud on Peter in the tub. Enough water to make Niagara wonder where it came from, comes flying out the door, and the screaming and hollering and everything else. It was much funnier than if he had shown it. Yeah. Most directors would have shown it and used stunt doubles.
Edwards knew.
You know, but Edwards didn't show it. He really kind of remarkable about her. First of all, that she was able to work on the level that she did at a time, at least during Something Like It Hot, at a time when she was not at all happy. She was very unhappy. I have no idea why. It wasn't my business. And we were not that close that she would divulge to me what was bothering her, but something was bothering her a great deal. She was an unhappy woman, and but she was able to do something that very, very few actors can do, and that is use what talents she had almost 100%. Yeah. If you get 80%, you're lucky.
Yeah, and you got a good performance if you get 80%.
And every now and then, when you're in the zone, like a golfer being in the zone or something, you'll give a performance and, wow, you'll just blow the walls out of the theater. And then you'll sit back, as Olivier once did one night when he gave a great performance, and everybody was there, and Gielgud and Richardson and Terry and God knows who, and they came back afterwards, and he was sitting almost crying in his dressing room. And they said, "What's the matter? You've just given the performance of a lifetime." He says, "Yes, but what did I do? What did I do?" He didn't know.
Didn't know. How many times?
And Marilyn would you know, she made that character that was Marilyn, the voice and the way she walked and talked. That was all Marilyn.
Now, what about all the stories about she'd be late on the set or all that kind of stuff?
Yes, but
and that was probably
never,
fear or insecurity rather than...
It was fear and insecurity. There was no vanity involved. There was no ego involved at all, whatsoever.
How many times do you feel like you've been in the zone yourself, where you really topped out?
Not very many. Not very many. There's times when I feel that out of what technique I've learned and what ability I have been able to muster, that I have played the hell out of a scene. You know, this is just me personally, I felt that. But a few times, and a few times early on when I did tribute as a play before we did the film, I felt that I nailed it and I took off. And when it happens, it's like hitting the end of a diving board and going, but you stay in the air until the curtain comes down. And it doesn't happen all that often.
But do you know when it's happening? You feel it.
Yes, you feel it, but you don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like
but you go.
Basketball players say that when you're shooting and you're in the zone, that the
hoop gets bigger.
Looks like the size of a basket.
Yeah.
And I assume for a golfer, when you're putting in the zone, it's a big.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
And for an actor, you just feel like you feel like you're at one with the character, and it's all.
What really happens when I think, and it's the ideal situation for an actor, and it's what should happen is, you don't, a lot of young kids misusing the Stanislavski method, feel that you should become the character, or whatever your interpretation of the character is, and the more you become that character, the better it is. And the ultimate would be to become totally the character. The character would take over, and you would become. If the character takes over, you better quit. You are in deep, deep trouble, because you have no control. There always has to be a little light on in the back there that's watching it, literally, that's divorced from it, and that's watching it. And it isn't getting in the way, but it keeps you in control. You, the actor, have to be in control. And you know that you've got it when you're in the zone.
And if you're in control, you know how to modulate it, too. You know when you're coming, you can feel when you're coming close to the edge, and you want to be just there, but no further.
And you can also, those are the times when you can take a chance and it's okay. You can do something totally different, and you know you're going to nail it.
Can you take more chances on film because you know you're going to redo it again?
Yes, I think so, in a way. I think that the actor himself is going to be willing to take more chances because he unconsciously, if not consciously, knows that after cut, there's more film in the camera, or they'll put more in, and you can go ahead and do it again. Yeah. Whereas an audience is going to say, what did he do? What the hell? What was that? Yeah.
You have a reputation for working hard. On the set. I mean, you are the guy who's there. You're not going sitting in your trailer sort of doing something else. You're out there. I mean, you may have a piano there or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I do.
But you think about your lines and you think about the performance. I mean, your reputation is for a real steady professionalism. Yeah.
Good.
Well, but I mean, you tell me. You look at it as this is my job and this is what I'm going to do, and I ought to come here ready to go.
Yeah, that's how I work.
How good do you think you are, without being modest? I mean, I don't want you to be modest to say I can't say. How good do you think you are? I mean, you've had a chance now to think about.
Well, Charlie, the only way I can evaluate it, I can't look back on the stage performances, which I think are probably going to ultimately have been the best.
Really?
Yeah, with a few exceptions, yes.
We're talking about?
Long Day's Journey and Tribute, mainly.
Right. Tribute, you come back to and back to.
I think I'm good. And I think I'm capable of being very, very good. And I'm not there yet. I think there are times when I've been very good. But I'm not. There are some actors that, in my opinion, they're going to be very, very good almost every crack out of the barrel. Tony Hopkins and a handful of others.
De Niro, people like that.
Yeah, and Bobby De Niro. I think Al Pacino. A lot of the English, Irish, and the Welsh. Look out, man! They are loaded. They are terrific.
Would you have done it differently at all? When you look, I mean, you couldn't be happier. You couldn't have more opportunities.
Right.
You've arrived here having an extraordinary number of things, including Lifetime Achievement Awards, which is a recognition of a body of work. But would you have done it differently, notwithstanding the success both critically and commercially?
Charlie, I don't think I would have done it differently, including the mistakes.
Really?
By mistakes, I mean failures or whatever I might have done wrong, choosing wrong things or this and that, because you learn as much from failure, if not more, than you do from a hit. You really do.
What have you learned from failure?
I know that when I did, after I went out and did some movies, I came back in 1960, I guess it was, with The Face of a Hero, which was a Playhouse 90 I did. Yeah. That Johnny Frankenheimer directed, and John couldn't do the play, but they wanted to do it as a play, and I said okay, because I felt that whatever was wrong, and there were some things wrong with it, could be fixed. Mistake. It could not get fixed, or it didn't get fixed at any rate. And we came back, and we had a hell of a time with it, in town, out of town, everywhere, in Boston and then Philadelphia and everything. I had a Harvard dean who had told me all the time when I was at Harvard, you're never going to amount to anything No, you're never going to do anything that is worthwhile. I was always on probation because I was doing plays, which I shouldn't have been doing, using the name Timothy Orange or whatever, and not studying hard enough, and just sort of just getting by. And every month I'd have to have a meeting with him while I was on probation.
And
he'd say, always remember, you're never going to do anything worthwhile. Having already said, if you don't change your ways, you know, or this and that. So when we opened in Boston and got terrible reviews, the second night, I was waiting for about 30 minutes after I took my makeup off before I went down the alley out into the street in case anybody was there, because I was embarrassed about the reviews. So finally I looked out, fine. I snuck out to the pavement and I looked under the light, and there he is. There's the dean and his wife and a couple of kids staying, and he says, "I told you so."
Yeah, but have you ever had a chance to want to send him the other notices that were so good, saying, "You were wrong"?
No, it was fun. Then we went and had some Chinese food and laughed a lot.
Oh, you went out with him for dinner that night?
Yeah, he was great. Anyway.
But you do learn from failure.
But you do learn from failure, I think, and you can learn in many ways more about what went wrong, why did it go wrong, once you calm down and don't let emotion come into it, just and analyze what's wrong. Is it you? Maybe it's the writing itself. Maybe this can't be played well, this scene, or maybe if you play it differently, it's going to work, etc.
Do you...
I wouldn't change anything, though, to basically answer your question.
You wouldn't change
I have been so fortunate. I truly don't know any actor who has had more opportunities with wonderful parts over the decades than I have.
So it's silly to contemplate parts that you didn't take that turned out to be great vehicles for other people.
There's a number of those. Yeah, that's terrific. Fine.
When you turned them down, whatever it might have been, what, because you didn't feel like it was right for you?
Yeah. Excuse me. There's several reasons. Either I felt that it was a part that I was not attracted to as an actor, and you can't always really verbalize why. It's just an emotional reaction. You just don't want to play that part. Yeah. The fellow sitting next to you might say, "Hey, boy, I can't wait to do that.
It's for me.
That's for me."
Yeah.
You know, or as often happens, you feel you've played it before, or so many aspects of it that you played it before. At one point, when a fellow named Gordon Carroll was a partner of mine in my little company years ago, and we got a hold of a property, Cool Hand Luke, and we went to Paul Newman.
Yes.
And Paul said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And he says, "Now read this Western." He says, "See if you play this Western with me." And I came back to him. I read it. It was this long, long script, marvelous script. But I felt that it was what they would say a Jack Lemmon part, and that I had played too many aspects of it. Well, it was a Sundance Kid, for God's sake. That's how bright I am. But anyway, those things happened to all of us.
Did you produce Cool Hand Luke then?
Yeah.
Your company?
Yeah.
So that won an Academy Award? For some?
It won a couple, but I don't know.
But not for Paul or not.
But not for Paul, and not for the picture
George
or
Kennan
director.
Or George Kennan win for best supporting actor? Maybe
George
that was
Kennedy.
It. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, one supporting.
When you look at that, all that kind of stuff, would you have come back to Broadway more often then if you had to do it? You wouldn't do that then. I mean,
yeah, I might.
Yeah,
I might. I have been leery of coming back in recent years because I think it's just gotten so damn tough to do a play here. I mean, you can have you can do a drama, a good tight little drama, and get wonderful reviews and close. Because you're not Cats or you're not Les Mis, you're not the show that everybody comes to New York and wants to go home and say, "I saw it."
Lion King is it now?
You know, Lion King, whatever it might be, which is a terrific show apparently.
Yeah, it is a great show.
But if it isn't the big hit musical, or a big hit comedy, you can be in a lot of trouble.
Has there ever been a time in which you thought my career is over? You know, I mean, it's just I've seen my best times. Obviously, it turned out not to be true because this is your best decade in your 70s. But was there a time in which you said, "My phone's not ringing. They've forgotten Jack"?
Yeah. There is. It isn't that I have felt my career is over, but I have felt as you also said, I've hit the pinnacle. Now I'm coming down the other side of the mountain. And, you know, actors are so, there's a basic insecurity in all of us. I don't care who's talking. It's like an actor who says, I never read reviews. That's baloney. The guy is lying to you. He reads reviews. He just doesn't want to mention them.
You read them right away.
Yeah, sure.
Do you learn from them?
You can. There are some critics you can learn from. The better critics are constructive.
Yeah.
There are others that really get too personal, or they're far more concerned with writing than they are with critiquing.
Yeah, they're more concerned in how their performance than they are your performance.
Exactly, yes. Yeah.
You ever written a letter? You ever written to a critic saying, you know, you just really gotten it?
No, but I bumped into critics and chatted with them a couple of times, if you can call it chatting.
Days of Wine and Roses. Blake called you up and said, I want you to take a look at this. I want you to do this. And then something happened to it, and you were relieved because you were scared to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
Scared to do it?
It taught me a big lesson. When every studio in town, actually it wasn't Blake calling me, an agent, Lenny Hershan, who is still Walter's agent, and I were having lunch when he said, did you see the Playhouse 90 Days of Wine and Roses? I said, no, I missed it, but I hear that it was absolutely marvelous. He says, well, if I get you a script and you want to do it, how about you doing it with Lee Remick and Blake Edwards directing? And I said, I don't even want to read it. I'll do it. Because I love both of them, and I'll do it. And I know that it's a great part because of everything I've heard. And at that point, who did it? Cliff Robertson, I think, had done it on Playhouse 90, but Cliff was not as big a name in film, which is why they would not use him. And the first studio that turned it down did say that, you know, if Jack were to say, I won't do this, and you tried to sell it with Cliff, he says, nobody's going to do it. Not yet. He's not that big a star. I only mention that for those who would wonder, how come, you know, you did it and Cliff didn't.
It's happened a lot.
That's the reason. That happens a lot. Happens every day.
So, but wasn't there a point what you said, now, I'll do it. If Blake is doing it, I'll do it.
I'll
if
do
you've
it.
got Lee
Everything
Remick,
is fine.
Man, this is great.
We went to every studio in town and got nowhere. They said, who wants to see a story about two young alcoholics, you know,
their life falling apart.
That fall apart and don't even get back together again at the end, and he's left with the baby. And she's still drinking, and he's gone into AA, but she won't face it yet. So we didn't know what to do, and finally somebody called, I don't know if it was Blake or Lenny Hirsch, and said, it looks kind of hopeless, we can't do it. We can't sell it anywhere.
Was a part of you relieved?
I went into immediate relief and joy, and I didn't realize what it was at first, and then I realized it was because I was scared that if we were going to do it, I couldn't play it. I wouldn't be able to get enough of the character. I wouldn't do it that well, because by now we had read through it a number of times with Blake and Lee and I, and I knew it. I knew the script very well, and just on my own, you know.
You worried that you weren't up
reading
to it.
And I realized that fear was the only reason that I felt relieved, because now I didn't have to face it, the fear of not being able to play it well enough.
And then they came back and said, it's on.
And then Blake went to Jack Warner, and Jack Warner finally says, well, if you get the two of them together at the end and give me a little happy ending here, I think I'll do it. I'll give you 10 cents and you can make it. Yeah. And we all said, oh, we won't change a thing. Oh, absolutely, yeah. So we did it, and never changed the ending, and shot the ending last for a change. Mm-hmm. Usually in films, you're so out of sequence, you shoot the ending first, if anything. But then I jumped on a plane and went over to Paris and didn't tell anybody where I was, and Jack Warner couldn't get a hold of me, so he couldn't reshoot.
That's great.
And he had to release it.
You did it on purpose?
Yeah.
So there will be no... How did you get up for it? I mean, this made your reputation as a dramatic actor.
Right.
How'd you get up for it? What did you do to deliver this performance?
Well, a lot of times, you know, actors will go very heavily into research and this and that. I don't research very often, but sometimes it's very helpful. I went to AA meetings, talked to a number of alcoholics that I knew that were recovering alcoholics, to get their input about it and what it is like and so forth. And Lee and I both went down to the what is no longer around, the old Lincoln Heights jail in Los Angeles, and I went to the drunk tank there. Oh boy, oh God, will that give you talk about a lesson. And research
It'll make
that.
you sober, will it?
And that's where I got the idea of having him wake up in a straitjacket. When in one scene in the film, he's in a straitjacket, and he talks to Jack Klugman, his buddy, about his wife and their problems and how much he loves her. But in all, I think, without exception, but in almost all, if not all, of the dramas that I have ever done, there comes a point where the character has to make a major, truly major decision in his life, moral or ethical decision. His sense of values, of what is important, comes to the fore, and he has to make the decision. Now, sometimes, like in Save the Tiger, he elects to go ahead and burn down his factory to get the insurance so he can stay in business. I didn't like the man that I played, but that's not necessary at all. I don't like Richard III either. But it's a hell of a part.
Hell of a part, yes. Yeah. But the thread is, in most of your work, there is a point where your character makes a decision. About ethics, integrity, the quality.
In China Syndrome, he's the guy in the white hat. He cuts the umbilical cord and is willing to blow the whistle on the nuclear industry and on the nuclear reactor, which he loves because he loved his work and he truly believed in it. But he knew that he had to do that ethically because there was danger involved if they didn't shut the plant down.
In Missing?
And in Missing, we're talking about his belief in his own government, never being wrong, and
who comes to realize that his government
the lack of
will lie to
morals
him.
and ethics involved in a foreign government at that time. And out of that, I learned, don't just read the front page of the New York Times and believe everything that you read, because it's not always true.
And in Glengarry Glen
Ross, yeah. Again, there's where he makes the wrong decision, you know, and is willing to crib a little bit and steal some information in order to better his own position in this little real estate group.
What's the best script you've had to work with?
Oh boy, I don't know. That's a tough one.
I mean, you've had Madeline.
I don't think that the two best comedy scripts that in my opinion, that I've ever worked with, and I will say this, although one of the films is yet to open and be reviewed, the two best are Some Like It Hot, which I don't think you can top, that Billy Wilder and I.A.L. Diamond wrote, and the second Odd Couple, Odd Couple 2.
You really are enthusiastic about this film.
I'm telling you, I really am
What
high
is
as a
it
kite
about it that makes
film.
you, it's the script, but the performance and the chemistry with you and Walter, everything.
Yes, everything gelled, in my opinion.
It's the zone we talk about where it comes alive.
Yeah. I think Walter and I hit our own little zone in that. I really do. It goes beyond being just a marvelous comedy script. It's very touching at times.
Of all the characters you've played, is there one or more that's closest to who you think you are? That you identified with more, you saw more of yourself in, that resonated with you?
Not that I can think of. I've thought of this, but only about once or twice before, and I couldn't come up with anything then either. I don't, I really don't, and who knows? I mean, I'm probably the worst judge at all. I may be Ensign Pulver, I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't think, really, Charlie, of one that I feel was close to me. Me, the real me.
Way back in the beginning, when you were 8, you started performing. It was always what you wanted to do. Did your parents approve? Did they say,
yeah,
go for it?
They did. My mother especially, because she had wanted to be a singer. Yeah. She did have a lovely voice, but her family said, "You don't do that. We don't do that."
Yeah, our family does not go into entertainment.
Not in
the entertainment business.
My father was supportive, but very worried. Yeah. And when
that you could make a living.
Yeah, he was worried about making a living, not making a living, because he knew more than I did. He realized that it was a very high-risk profession, like a professional athlete. It's a very high-risk profession. And the luckiest thing that's happened to me is not any part or a number of parts. It's the fact that that acting worked.
Yeah, that you've had a chance to do it.
Yeah,
and to do all the things that has brought you.
That's been the luckiest break.
Yeah.
So he was scared to death when I went into it. And I'd have to keep going to him and borrow $10 or borrow $7.50 or $15 maybe, etc. And this went on for a couple of years, and then finally I got some soap operas and a couple of TV shots.
Were you head of the Hasty Pudding Club at Harvard?
Yeah, I was president because they ran me against a guy named Apple. They thought that would be kind of fun, and I won by
Lemon and
one
Apple.
vote.
Lemon beat Apple, huh?
Lemon beat Apple by 1 vote.
Yeah. I look forward. Thank you for coming, first of all.
Oh, thank you, Charlie.
Very much.
My pleasure.
I look forward to seeing you and Walter in Odd Couple 2, and then the beginning of Odd Couple 3, I guess, starts in the fall.
In the fall.
Thank you again, Jack. Pleasure.
My pleasure, Charlie.
Good
Thank
to see you. Jack Lemmon for the hour. My thanks to Jack Lemmon. Anthony Giddens, director of the London School of Economics, was to be on the broadcast tonight. We taped that segment. It will appear later this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow night.